Stampers Kim from StampingImperfection.com. Welcome to my studio. I got a card in the mail from one of my uplines, and it's such a pretty card. I wanted to share this card with you. This sentiment says, wishing you a wonderful journey through a world of dreams come true, which I thought was really appropriate. I like this card because it could be for almost any occasion or just a thinking of you card, and it's got a fun little sparkle to it. I don't know how well you can see the sparkle in the flowers. Plus it uses the clear block technique, which I showed ages ago. So I thought it would be fun to revisit these techniques and show you how to make this card. So I'm going to totally case this card. Here are the materials you need. I'm actually going to make 4. You need the World of Dreams stamp set. We're going to use this floral image right here. We're going to use one of the sentiments, and you're going to need a separate clear block, and this is size C. So this is size C clear block, so you're going to need a plain one of those. So again, World of Dreams stamp set. You're going to need some of this fabulous natural chevron ribbon. Looks like this. You need crumb cake stamp pad. You're going to need these dazzling details, and this is the clear one. Looks like she used the clear one on that. I have my glue Stampin' Dimensionals, I have my decorative label punch, and I've cut out 4 pieces of crumb cake cardstock at 5.5 by 8.5, and I scored each piece at 4 1/4. So I'm going to make 4 of these. Then I cut out 4 pieces of Very Vanilla at 4 by 5 1/4, and I have a leftover piece of Very Vanilla that I'm going to use for the sentiment. So I'm going to start by first stamping my sentiments, and I need to keep in mind that I'm going to have to punch it, so my punch is shaped like this. So I want my sentiment to be easy to access, and since I'm doing 4 of them, I want to make sure I leave enough space around the sentiment to actually punch it out and get that whole punch in. So I need to be able to fit the punch on the paper in the correct orientation, and I need to leave enough space between above and below. So I'll turn this like this, put one in the middle here, and then I'll put one over here, and I'll do 1 extra for good measure. Okay, so I've got that. So I'm going to start with this background technique, and I'm just going to use my clear block, and again, this is clear block size C, and I want to overstamp with the same color, so I'm going to stamp off a little bit because I tried this and straight from my stamp pad, and it's a little dark, so when I go to stamp over it with the same color, it's actually going to come out a little too dark for that color to show. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up. I'm just going to like pounce this on my stamp pad a couple of times, stamp here, and then stamp onto my paper, just like that. And I'm going to do that again. I'm going to ink it up, stamp off on scrap paper, and then stamp on my cardstock. Alright, just like that. So it gives me this little background, and I'll do that on all 4 of these. I would clean off my block just like I would clean off the stamp on my Stampin' Scrub. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is take the stem image, and I'm going to ink this up really well, and on her card it looks like she did one like this, like that, and because I stamped off that block, the same ink color on top looks great. If you don't do the stamp off technique, it won't show up quite as well. And then she tipped this over and did it just like this. There, so I'm going to do that on all of them. Okay, so all my stamping is done. Now the next step takes a few minutes to dry, so I'm going to do the dazzling details. So I have this dazzling details, and it looks like she just put a little bit on every flower and leaf, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take this scrap paper again and squeeze some out there, because it always comes out. I haven't used it in a while, so it'll come out in a big blob. So then I'm just going to squeeze a little bit like this onto each flower and leaf. This will add just enough sparkle, and it's clear, so it dries clear, but you'll see this sparkle. Okay, so I'll do this to every one. And then you need to let this dry. It takes a bit of time to dry, not too long, but you want to be careful so you don't smudge it. So I'll put it aside, and don't stack. Be careful not to stack your papers. Since I'm doing 4 at once, I want to be careful not to stack my papers on top of each other, my cardstock on top of each other. Once that's done, then to give that time to dry, now I can go ahead and punch out my sentiments. And I'm using my decorative label punch. Now I can center it and line it up inside the punch. Punch that out. And I'm going to put a dimensional or 2 on the back of each one of these. Got my chevron ribbons, cut them about 5 1/4 inches long, and then on the chevrons, I just cut them along the bottom of one of the natural pieces because I thought it looked better having the natural one. I liked the way she had done it. So I just followed the chevron to give it a little nice little tail, and I did that to 4 pieces. And I'm going to flip these over, and I'm just going to put glue on the back of these. And then I'm going to put each of these onto the mat. And I'm going to be very careful because this is not dry yet. You can still see that it's still wet. So I'm going to be very careful as I do this. Now it looks like she overlapped hers. She had hers come down just a little bit below the edge of that clear block technique. Oops, I just got glue all over my finger. And then she folded it over and glued it onto the back. Okay, so I'm going to do that for each one. And then I'm going to add this to the front of the card. Okay, and she's kind of got it like that. I'm trying to put it above the flower, sort of along the I like actually how she did this along the side here because it kind of makes it pop more. And my last step now is just to fold my cardstock and glue each one of these to the top. So I just need my bone folder. So notice when I'm making several cards at once, the first thing I did was to get all my pieces cut, and I gathered all my materials, and then I just did one step at a time. I stamped the clear block stuff, then I stamped the images, I stamped the sentiments, then I punched everything out. So by doing one step at a time, you can easily get the cards finished. Now I'm just going to put this down with glue. You could use dimensionals if you wanted. So now I'll just attach each one of these with glue. There we go. So I've just completed 4 cards with a couple of fancy little techniques, totally cased from my upline. My way up line, I should say. And now I have 4 cards that I can send someone to let them know that I'm thinking of them. And they've got a little bit of sparkle, and they've got a fun technique. So there you go. Thanks very much for watching. Stop by my blog at stampingimperfection.com. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And make sure you give this video a like and share with your friends. Thanks for watching.